Let's talk about this wall thing. It seems to not go out of the news. I mean, it's such a stupid topic, and yet kind of needs to be talked about because, well, everyone is talking about the wall. Why? Well, because the traitor-in-chief in the United States says the United States interferes with the affairs of nations all over the world to undermine and disrupt them so it can legitimize its terrorism and legitimize its fascism and try to keep people afraid from leaving so that they think they actually have freedom when actually they do what they're told, or the Blue ISIS thugs kill them / lock them in a prison. Now, they don't want you guys that are in the prison camps to realize that, but they realize some of us, like me, are realizing that, and that's why I escaped the USA. And that's happening more and more and more, and more and more and more people are getting out before it's too late. They're getting it out before they're charged. They get charged with something absurd that they know they're going to get convicted of that's a total fake crime, and they get out. They get convicted of something and they get out. It's a good thing to get out. It's a good thing not to walk into an illegal prison. It's a good thing to resist Blue ISIS. It's a good thing to resist the U.S. court system. These are terrorists. These are traitors. These are not law. These are not righteous judges. These are not Christians. These are not patriots. These are terrorists, and you have a right to resist a terrorist. So what's the wall for? My main topic is not going to be to go back and forth about the whole wall thing, okay? We know the wall is stupid if we have a brain, because we know that any real criminal is going to get around the wall. There's tunnels that go underneath the border, because guess who's really trafficking the drugs? The government that's trying to build the wall is working with these cartels, some of which are well, I won't even go into the cartel thing, but let's just say that the cartel problem down here in Mexico and Latin America was started by the U.S., it was created by the U.S., it keeps places like Mexico destabilized, and eventually I think my Mexican friends down here are gonna wise up to that. They already are starting to, and throw out the USA entirely, because actually the USA needs Mexico a lot more than Mexico needs the USA, which is why Trump is not going to get away with closing the border permanently, because, you know, those of you who still are stuck in the USA like things like, I don't know, food. All right, so did you know that the main commercial crossing at Texas, there are 14, think about this for a moment, there are 14 lanes of commercial traffic in each direction at the main crossing in Texas between Texas and Mexico. That's how much is going up, and not near as much as is coming down. Now, let's talk about this wall, though. Okay, a Mexican politician from the state that I live in, actually, in Querétaro, recently a state level, like a congressman, a state senator or something like that, went to the wall that exists now, because there's some wall there, right? It's not working. Of course it's not working. That's ridiculous. This is the age of airplanes and ladders and stuff, okay? So he went there and he climbed the wall himself to make a statement on how dumb the wall was. But, you know, you still keep getting fed propaganda about the wall. The wall, the wall, the wall. Now, it's arguable that walls at one point, right, way back when they built walls around cities to keep an actual like invading force out, that it was a buffer, right? It didn't stop an invasion, it didn't stop a siege, but it created a buffer of sorts. Of course, in the era of the airplane and the machine and the bomb, the wall, as in like an actual wall, became irrelevant to protect really even a city. Like, you didn't put walls around whole countries unless you were fascists and didn't want to have freedom to leave or enter. And that's the key thing. Is all the fake church, fake Christians, fake patriots say we should abuse and mine the border and kill the immigrants and abuse people for having the right to free travel. Let me see if I can describe what the patriots do real quick to summarize. I demand the government leave me alone. I demand the government abuse people without papers to live. That's the level of stupidity and hypocrisy and hate that the pretend patriot movement operates on. And you have to think about the level of ignorance and blindness and propagandizement, is that a word? And propagandizement that takes, to think you have freedom and the government has no right to check your papers, they should leave you alone, you wave a don't tread on me flag, and on the other hand you wave a blue line and a border patrol flag and say, well, if a brown person doesn't have papers, they should be imprisoned, shot, landmined, bombed, walled, etc. But let's come down to the topic of the day. The real topic that I think a lot of people are missing about this wall. See, I say the wall is to keep you in. Some people agree and some people say you're crazy, Gavin, but you'll see. Walls keep people in. Walls are for fascist nations, not for free ones. Patriots tear down walls, not build them. End of story. New Berlin, it's coming. But why then? The wall's not going to keep the criminals out, yet it will keep the people in. Why is that? That doesn't make sense, right? Because we can crawl out, right? Well, yes, but people are missing something. The criminals will fly airplanes over because, well, the CIA sends those airplanes down to pick up the drugs. The drug prohibition is a fraud to control the people, and the whole drug war is, even if you're somebody like me who doesn't do drugs. The tunnels underneath the border, of course, don't care about the wall. Neither do the ladders, the helicopters, the drones, and, well, the countless other ways that even someone without great means can get things over the wall. It doesn't take a genius to know that you don't need a Learjet to get contraband over a wall, or even to get a person over for that matter. Frankly, the wall can be countermanded with little more than a hacksaw. So why the wall? The government knows the wall has nothing to do with stopping the drug trade because the government's the one sponsoring the drug trade. Keeping the drug war going to keep you in fear of the drug trade. The government knows the wall isn't going to stop immigration that they don't approve of. I'm not going to say illegal immigration because there's no such thing. Everyone has the right to travel and there's no such thing as an illegal immigrant. So why do they want that wall? They already know, right? There's already wall in many parts of the border. They already know it doesn't work. Why do they want the wall? Why do they have you raising money like blithering fools? Veterans who followed orders are now called heroes because they raise money to turn our country into a fascist New Berlin? What's going on? What's going on in our heads? Think about this. This is the point. The wall will do nothing to keep criminals, cartels, terrorists, or any of that out. The wall is to lock you in with your own government so that as more and more people realize that the USA has no freedom and is a sham, and the places that they're laughing and calling third world, like where I am right here in Mexico, have vastly more freedom than the USA does, or that almost anywhere in the world has vastly more freedom than the USA does, and you don't have to live every day with the concern of a police officer shooting you in the head because you reached for your wallet the wrong way. The wall will keep you in. Because the wall does not keep people out who are A, equipped, or B, have nothing to lose. I want you to listen to this part very carefully. The wall does not keep people out who are A, equipped, or B, have nothing to lose. The criminals can get through, and the people that really want to get through the wall because they feel like they need to get out of where they're at can get through. It's impossible to build a wall that will stop those things. But the wall will keep the people in. It will keep the serfs, the slaves in. Why? It makes it hard to leave. See, when you live in a country, if you have a house and things, and you realize that your country has become Nazi Germany and you want to get out, you are going to be more and more reluctant the more you will lose. See, when I left the USA, I packed everything I could into an RV and a van, and I took off, leaving my house and much of my possessions behind. But I still got to take a lot of it. But when the check stations are complete that are already installed at your exit stations, when the wall is complete, you won't be able to leave with anything. See, someone climbing over the wall can't take their house, RV, brand new diesel pickup truck, possessions, etc. They can just get over with maybe a backpack and the skin on their back. The wall is going to keep the people of the USA in because most people will be too afraid, too unprepared to leave everything. Thanks, Ebert. That's why the wall is going to be so effective. The wall is going to work amazing to keep the serfs from leaving. See, the government is starting to realize that people are starting to see the sham. That almost every other country, even including Canada, maybe they'll want to build a wall there next, has a lot more freedom than the USA. Thanks, G-Life. And so while knowing the criminals can still come through freely, the wall is doing nothing to stop that. The wall, when the borders are truly locked down and the exit stations prevent you from leaving without special government permission, that means you will truly have to leave everything behind. And that's what the wall will keep in. The wall will keep the people in. Oh, the dedicated ones, the ones awake enough, the ones willing to lose everything, the ones willing to walk away, may still be able to escape. But that's not how it works with most people. See, they won't be able to bring their lives with them once the system, the wall, once New Berlin is truly in place, because they will only leave through the road by special permission once we get to that point. But the wall, you could only carry what's on your back, more or less, unless you can afford an airplane or something like that, which is a risk. There's history of all these things. So history is repeating. The walls have been built before. They were never meant to keep criminals out. They were always meant to keep the serfs in, to keep them afraid, to keep them fearing. That's another thing. You don't know what's on the other side. When the wall's up, a generation from now will barely know what's on the other side. Heck, they barely do now. When I came to Mako, people thought it was a wasteland, and I proved them wrong, and they were in shock at how much freedom there was here, despite the problems, many of which were sponsored by the USA. That's the truth about the wall. Anyone with any rational thought knows the wall is not to stop criminals. It's not even to stop immigration. It's to stop only the weak, only the people that you really want in your country, that really want something better. It might slow them down, but most of all, it's there to stop the people of the USA from taking everything they have and getting out of Dodge. And that's why I got out before it was too late. If you guys want to know more of that story, I actually just posted a video that's doing pretty good here on the channel a few weeks ago. Subscribe and go to the channel, and you can check out the other videos if you want to know a little more about our story. I just wanted to do a quick video about the wall, about what the NWO propaganda about immigration controls that the Founding Fathers never intended and that the Constitution forbids is really all about. And despite the fact that the trolls will pop down to the comments and make up all kinds of slanderous accusations and call me names because they have no facts, they have no proof, and law and history calls them fools, they want you to believe that the wall is good, that slavery is good, that fascism is good, and that you should lick the boots of blue ISIS and obey the masters. Why? Because they don't really want freedom for the people. They just want their faction, their friends, to have the gun to other people's head so they can get as much free stuff as possible, because that's what happens in a socio-fascist state. Thank you all. Shout out to all you. Have a good night. It's getting late down here in Central Mexico. Some things to think about. Resist blue ISIS. Stand up. Love your neighbor. And do not walk into the gas chamber. Peace.